Good afternoon, students. We have started lesson 6. And how's the preparation going on up to lesson number 5? We will send the question paper tomorrow. So write nicely, prepare nicely. Then also now we move to lesson number 6. First question we have completed what is census and what are the importance of this and what you mean by natural resources and human resources. Natural resources very familiar term, but human resources, even if natural resources are there, without qualitative human resources, that won't be useful. That also we have seen. And what is the purpose? To prepare 5-year plan earlier. Up to, I told you, 12th 5-year plan was the last one in 2015. Then 2017 onwards we have changed the name and it was replaced by 3 years action plan by the Narendra Modi government. And even animals, plants, different species, all these census also possible. But now we concentrate more about the human census. Now an estimate of the population of India. This is based on the 2011 census. So means 10 years back. I already told you this 2021 is the year to next census, but due to this COVID, what is the final decision that it is not declared. Let us wait. And based on the previous data, let us see what is mentioning in this lesson. The total land area of our country is 32,87,263 square kilometer, which is 2.42% of the world's total area. So if you consider world, just to imagine the globe, from that 2.42% only we have. World's total area, from that 2.42% only India has. Yes? Area wise it stands 7th in the world. Area wise, our position, the land area wise, our India's position is 7th. So here I am giving you homework. Which are the other 6 countries? They are ahead of India in land wise. Today find out. Okay, the other 6 countries. Ours is 7th. More than 16% of the world's population lives in India. See, only 2.42% of the land area, that is also 7th position we have. But what is our population? Just to see, 16%, more than 16% of world population is residing in India. So when you consider the area and population, just to see, India stands 2nd in terms of population after China. China is the first one, 2nd India. India stands 2nd in terms of population. So underline, India stands 2nd in terms of population, and area wise what is the position of India? 7th. So Indian map is also given there, and some details also asked to fill in the details in the table given below after referring to the information about the census on 2011. See, address is given there. Just you search, then you fill it. Okay, as homework. But not today. The previous one is the 6 countries that no need to do today, but after completing tomorrow or day after tomorrow, after completing your paper, you do. Okay. Next one is qualitative human population is also called human resource. What do you mean by human resource? Human beings. They are only human beings. But here one particular term is used, that qualitative. Quality and quantity I told you. Qualitative human resource. Otherwise qualitative human population. That is human resource. The quality of human resource depends on how can you improve your own quality? That is the question. Are you a qualitative person? Otherwise, are you a qualitative human resource? How can we define this quality? How a person can become qualitative? Some qualities should be there, then only we can say that that person is qualitative. So which are the main qualities that we are considering to become? Otherwise, when we consider to estimate the qualitative human resource, which points to be considered? That is, first one is education and another one is intelligence. The quality of human resource depends on two things, education and intelligence. So this quality depends on two things. One is education and intelligence. Underline that. Education and intelligence. Okay. Skilled citizens like doctor, educationists, engineers, sportsmen, industrialists, businessmen, farmers, artisans, laborers and other responsible citizens are the human resources. Now definitely education and intelligence. So पढ़ना बहुत ज़रूरी है. Education के बिना you never become a qualitative person. Then you think that those who are not studied well, they are also resources, but highly educated person is in high position in considering human resource. And other persons, those who are in lower grade of education, they also have their own skill. Even a farmer, he has his own skill to farm, to do farming, like that sweeper. Previous class I told you, all those are also human resources. But qualitative human resources with high intelligence and high education, that is very much considerable. So the people, those who are skilled citizens like doctor, educationist, engineer, sportsman, industrialist, businessman, farmer, artisan, laborers and other responsible citizen are the human resources. Underline examples of human resources. If we ask the question examples of natural resources, then we can say that. Otherwise, you will write that forest resources, water resources, whatever the things, plant resources, animal resources, that is available in nature. But human resource, which are the examples? The skill, that word to be used, skill. If you do something, you must have that skill. So skilled citizens like doctor, educationist, engineer, sportsman, industrialist, businessman. Then farmer, don't think that farmer is not a skilled person, he is also skilled. Artisans, laborers and other responsible persons, all are human resources. Children and youth are the potential resources. Children like you, youth, they are the potential. What do you mean by potential resources? Expected, otherwise possible. In near future, they will turn us qualitative human resource. After completing your studies, when you get a job, when you start to earn money, then we can say that you are a qualitative human resource. And children, now you are dependent for everything you need to get support from your parents, from your family. And afterwards, you yourself become a supporter to others. So it means you will become a human resource. Now you are what we can say potential only. Potential resource. Now population growth, next one. Population of India has increased by 18.1 crores in a decade between 2001 to 2011. Decade means 10 years. In the 10 years gap, 2001 to 2011, what is the population? It has increased by 18.1 crore. However, the population growth rate has gone down, which is noteworthy point. Moreover, there has been increase in the number of literature and educated citizens. 18.1 crore decade between 2001 to 2011. But the population growth rate has gone. Population increased, but the growth rate down. What is the difference between this? Population is increasing. Population increasing trend, but growth rate decreasing trend. What is the meaning of that? If growth rate is decreasing, then how the population is increasing? Population is increasing, but the population growth rate. Earlier, in everyone's house, if you ask your grandparents, there may be 6 children, 8 children, like that in each and every family. But nowadays, 1 or 2. Yes, no. So population is increasing. Overall, total number of members are increasing. But nowadays, in every family, one or two children only. It means that population growth is decreasing. So gradually, after a certain point, this will be balancing. Otherwise, even population growth rate will start to decline. Like then gradually population also will start to decline. But when a lot of numbers are there, human numbers are there, population is there. But if the population growth is not much of earlier times, then we can say the population growth is decreasing. Even if the population is increasing, the growth is decreasing. Understood? Underline that also. However, the population growth rate has gone down, which is noteworthy point. Moreover, there has been an increase in the number of literate and educated persons. Earlier, not this much of literacy and education was not there. But nowadays, like the children like you, everyone go to school, no? Not only because of this situation, otherwise normal situation, most of them try to go to school. Otherwise, it is in village areas sometimes maybe they will go to farm work or field work. That is why government has introduced compulsory primary education. So at least they will get primary education up to 8th standard. Suppose if it is like that in near future also, too much importance will be there for getting education, to be educated, and literacy also. Nowadays, all persons know how to read and write. That is the basic thing. If you don't know how to read and write, then no one will accept you. You will not be accepted by anyone in any office, in any place if you go. So at least this literacy, what we can say literacy, if any language, if you know how to read and write, you are a literate person. Not too much of languages, not too many languages. But minimum one language, are you comfortable to read and write, you are a literate person. You all are literate persons. So nowadays illiterate persons number is reducing, population growth rate is reducing, at the same time educated person increasing. Clear? The population of India in 2001 was 102.87 crores, which has increased to 121.01 crores in the year 2011. This is a matter of worry about for the central government, and hence various policies and schemes have been launched to bring the population growth under control. See, 121.1 crore in the year 2011. And it was a matter of worry for the central government. Now you will ask, the government को इसमें क्या है? Population. हमारे घर पे 5 बच्चे होते हैं, कितने सारे बच्चे हैं? Why the government is worrying about this? It is a matter to concern to the government because all human beings need house, education, job opportunities, fresh air, and all other medical facilities, vehicle, and all this. So when all together, when we think about this, what happens? It is the duty of government to provide. And if much population is there, our land area is less, where they will reside? कहाँ वो लोग रहने वाले हैं? Yes, no. Then how they will get fresh air? How much pollution they will contribute to the environment? All these to be considered, so that we can say that this is worry attention full. Otherwise, it's a worrying matter for ruling government. So what the government will do then? They have launched to bring population growth under control. Different schemes and policies. Consequently, the rate of population growth has gone down by 1.7% also. Now see, one chart is given there since 1901 to 2011. What is going on, just to see how the population. And here also x-axis and y-axis, just to see how is the situation. Now why this population is increasing this too much? Reasons for the population growth. It's natural phenomena, but there are various factors responsible for the population growth. Here you should underline the points and then explain. Point wise it will be easy. First one is given there, immigration. What do you mean by immigration? Immigration certificate, you may be heard this word. What do you mean by immigration? Immigration means moving from one place to another for special purpose and residing in that area. Suppose for education, otherwise for job, all this purpose when people leave one place and they will locate to another area. That is, we can say immigration. So from one country to other country, otherwise from foreign countries people coming to here. A lot of people are there working here in India, starting their business and getting education over here. Then they are also be considering in Indian population because they take the land or house from here, from India only, they reside here, all the other resources they are using, so that immigration from other countries for industrial or trading or educational or just for the settlement purpose people are coming. Then this is one of the reason for improving population, otherwise increasing population in our country up to a certain percentage. Second one is that lower death rate. Lower death rate. Very less death rate now. Why? What is the reason? Not the case of this COVID year. In COVID year, due to COVID, a lot of persons has passed away across the world. That is a special case. But normally, what happens in India, the death rate is getting lower and lower. What is the reason behind that? What will be that reason? Earlier, a lot of people, even at the time of birth, small kids, infants, they were dying, and afterwards no proper medical facilities were there, so that also people were not getting that type of care, people were dying, and even good road and transportation systems were not there. Then what happens? Immediately they were not able to reach the hospital, otherwise to avail medical facility. Then also there was a chance to death. But nowadays the situation has changed. A lot of development has been taking place in our country. So when we read this all together, we can say that as India progresses, because of that, nutritional food is available and some other things like medical facilities are easily available, then the death rate is getting lower. So that is the another reason. Let us see the explanation what is given. Earlier the rate of population growth rate was low as the infant and female mortality rate was high. Underline. What do you mean by infant and female mortality rate? Mortality means death. Especially infants at the time of birth, and female, maybe mother after giving birth to the child, because proper medical care was not there. Otherwise, ladies, infant and female mortality rate was very high in earlier times, not now. The number of pregnant women dying due to unavailability of proper medical aid was high. After getting a child in her womb, a mother has to take a lot of care. If she is not taking care, then her health will be affected. Then there is a lot of chance to lose the child and the mother herself also. It was happening in earlier times. But nowadays, after getting pregnant, a lady must go to consult a doctor with frequent time and follows the advice of doctors, because all are educated and financially also, even poor people also, they will go, and government has launched a lot of scheme for them also. So it means that even the ladies who are carrying, they also get proper medication in India, and as a result the mother's death and the child's death both are reduced. The number of that cases reduced. So underline that also. The mode of transportation and roads were not as good as now, so people could not reach the medical centers easily. This is in the previous time. modes of transportation. It was not as good as now, and roads also. So these two, the proper roads should be there and modes of transportation. Nowadays all of us have 3 or 4 vehicles at our own home. Maybe just to count your home, maybe 1 or 2 two-wheelers will be there, definitely 1 4-wheeler will be there. So according to your convenience, if you want to immediately consult a doctor, you can go. But earlier this was not the situation. They have to wait for the transportation from some other side, otherwise the state bus, otherwise train, whatever it may be. But nowadays we are not waiting for all this. So time we can save. In the critical condition, if you are able to save the time, 99% you can save that person also. So that is happening nowadays because of proper road and transportation facilities and vehicle services. So underline that also, the mode of transportation roads were not as good as now. So people could not reach the medical centers easily in times of need. There was no control over diseases like cholera, typhoid, plague, etc. Some diseases. Now see even COVID. What is the situation about COVID? That situation was there earlier in the case of cholera, typhoid and plague. Surat was really plague affected area. It was plague affected area. Now everything is clear. At that time, it was all those were contagious diseases and it was spreading like anything. Then sometimes some village completely wiped out. The persons will die. Now due to COVID and across the world, entire world, a lot of persons died. The same situation was there in previous time also because of this type of diseases. Then what happened? Medicines, now we know for COVID also vaccine started to getting, and again research and new studies going on also. Like that, in every time this type of cases will be there. But in the case of all these, we can say they are not pandemic. Pandemic means, what is the meaning of pandemic? It cross the border, not limiting in one country. So it will be across the world. So in these cases, cholera, typhoid, etc. may be one local area, otherwise within the country, within the state, like that. But pandemic always goes to the other places also, means it is crossing the borders of particular country. So in that case, more chances of their death, like COVID. But here, the local area, otherwise the limited area, the people will suffer. And for that also medicines are available now. Initially, there were no medicines. And for all these things, researchers and experiences and time, everything is needed. Gradually, then the medicines will be available. In the case of COVID also, the same thing is happening now. So because of this, what happens, even the families were more frequently suffering many lives. Many times complete persons and even famine. What do you mean by famine? Poverty, not getting food. About drought we had seen in the previous classes. As a result of drought, what happens? Famine happens because when droughts take place, as a result, agricultural production will not be there. If agricultural production crops are not there, what you can eat? You may be having enough money in your hands, but you cannot eat money. The food and other items you must get from the market. And if famine is there, otherwise drought is there, then that market supply will be very less. As a result, what happens? You won't get sufficient food and water facilities. Then people will die. It had taken place many times. Even in Bharuch also, if you search the Bharuch history, Bharuch also had suffered this type of what we can say calamities. So as a result also what happens? Lot of persons will die. So when this locally spreading diseases and this famine, that may cause to death a lot of persons. And medical facilities were not as developed and accessible as now. Now medical facilities are easily accessible, but at that time it was not like that. So here from this paragraph we can say that the reasons for the population growth, but it is mixed. According to the question, you should develop it. Why earlier people were dying very fast? Their answer is there. Otherwise, in earlier times, why death rate was very high? All the answers are there. Nowadays, why death rate is low? Just opposite of these points you should mention. So here, lower death rate. Here, this point you should explain again. What were the reasons for this lower death rate? So here, you should mention about the medical facilities, then transportation and road and transportation facilities, then the like contagious diseases like cholera, typhoid, all these, then famine. So these points to be developed here with connecting this point according to the question. So what is the question? Based on that you should mention the answer. The scenario has completely changed today, just opposite of this. Nutritious food is now easily available to people. Underline. Nowadays nutritious food is available. Communicable diseases are under control. Communicable diseases means this typhoid, cholera, they are under control due to the advanced medical treatment and vaccination programs. And nowadays even immediately after getting birth, the child must be vaccinated many times. 1 month gap, 2 months gap, like that, up to 10, 11 years age, a lot of vaccination is taking place. Now we are concentrating only COVID vaccine. Yes, but this vaccination program is also maintaining good health and to reduce the death rate. Next one, immediate medical help, speedy mode of transportation and communication are available. Pre and post disaster management has improved and people who get affected are rehabilitated faster. Earlier time, if any natural disaster, suppose earthquake, like that, if any natural disaster had taken place, it was very difficult to manage the situation. But nowadays, pre and post, before that also, if flood is going to happen, otherwise possibility of any that natural disaster, up to a certain limit we can come to know earlier because of the advanced technology. Then people can be removed, they can be shifted to safer places. Earlier time it was not like that. As now the technological advancement shows this type of gives this type of facilities. As a result, what happened? Pre and post disaster management has improved, and the people who get affected, they also can be rehabilitated. Those who are affected, those who are died, but those who are affected, they can be rehabilitated to another place and proper medical care can be given. Thus the death rate has gone down. So here up to the second paragraph, thus the death rate has gone down, very important. Why death rate has gone down? This way also you can write, otherwise the previous paragraphs just opposite. That also can be written. This has led to a higher population growth rate. So as a result, what happening? Population growth rate is increasing. Apart from the above factor, the average life expectancy of humans has increased. Average life expectancy. What is this? Very earlier it was especially in 1920, it was 40 and 41 years. 1920, that much only. 40, 41 years. Average. It means 40, 41 years is the time to die. But nowadays people will live 70, 75 years. Mostly. So just to imagine at that time 40, 41, now 70, 75. How many people will be there across India? And across the world also, in India and across the world also. Because life expectancy is increased. Very earlier it was 40 to 41 years, but now it is 63, 64 is given in your textbook. It is average, only don't think that 63, 64 में सब लोग मरने वाले हैं. Not like that. 80, 90 में भी लोग रहेगा. But sometimes before that also it is happening. But it is average calculation. Okay. So today this much only. Remaining we will do with next class. Okay.